Welcome, welcome, welcome. This is Planetary Encodements, March 4th, 2024. Hello, Jackie. Yay, we're just starting after I went through my big dilemma of getting here. But, well, according to Lightbody, all of us are, there's several things. We're doing Dragon Month. And I kind of brought the dragon energy in last month. And so I thought we would talk a little bit about dragon energy and what it is and how it actually fits into astrological resonance. And so anyway, in my little notes here that I recovered, as we know, we talked about this last month, that we are in the year of the wood dragon. And to me, the wood dragon is kind of like the foundation of all the dragons. It's the visionary of the dragons. The dragon energy is always really, really inspirational, and it's about, and if you think about all the other, I think all the other years of the Chinese calendar are actual animals. We had the year of the cat, we had the year of the tiger, we had the year of the boar, we had the year of the
Rat.
horse and cat, and what did you say?
Rat.
Oh, I still didn't hear you.
No? Oh.
Oh, no,
And you
no, no.
said
I didn't get what you said. I heard you
rat.
talk. Okay.
R-A-T. I'm a
Okay.
rat. That's why I know it.
Okay. Anyway, but the dragon is, of all of the signs, is like a so-called mythological creature. It's a creature that we have stories about. It's ancient mythology. But that said, eons and eons and eons and eons before we were human beings, or as we were becoming human beings, and as our physical bodies were being developed, we had our physical form, and then we had our emotional form. And when we were developing our mental form, apparently the dragons of wisdom came from Venus. Venus is supposed to be a sacred planet. This is all kind of theosophy. So whether this is true or not, take it as a story. And I'm just telling a story. So they came to help humanity start developing thinking, our thinking capacity, our way to observe the world around us and communicate that. I mean, I think we had our feeling nature, which was good, but our thinking capacity was leading us to a different part of our physical body to develop so that we could navigate on our 3D plane. So ideally, our mental body was basically built so that we could not fall off cliffs. We had to think before we walked, and we had to, and it helps us in our everyday life where we drive the car or go to the store or pay our bills or do all that kind of stuff. It's just actually a vehicle, but it is a vehicle so that we can navigate on our 3D plane. But it kind of got captured, so to speak. And the way it was captured was, think about 12,000 years ago when we have our cataclysm. We were in such a state of catastrophe and such a state of being, of losing, like, I think we had developed to a high degree of interaction, especially with, star people and all of that kind of stuff. So we forgot about that, but there was a reason we forgot, because the reason we had this interaction with the star people, and it seemed like we were so-called advanced, we weren't truly operating from our heart center. So we were kind of like, this catastrophe that happened gave us the opportunity to come back to who we really were or develop who we really are as individuals. And that said, we as a species of beings, our human race, is finally starting to know that our physical body is something that we walk around on the planet. It's our vehicle to navigate, okay? And our emotional body is how we feel. And our mental body was just meant to give us information, just information. It's not anything more than that. But what we are doing is called the integrated personality. We are integrating our physical, our emotional, and our mental bodies together to come from our heart and use our intuition. And I really believe that the dragons of wisdom, especially this year, because where we are going is giving us the capacity to connect for the first time as a group, as a soul group, to wake up to know that we are more than what our physical, emotional, and our mental body is. We are waking up to the part of ourselves that is that intuition, the real part of ourselves. And it's through this integration. Now, this sounds a little far out, but I'm going to kind of like read what I have here. But Year of the Wood Dragon is continued. And this is a year astrologically and the Year of the Wood Dragon to develop foundations of integrity. It's a year to develop our self actualization. And we, all of us here, especially, have been breaking down our bodies to find out what is real, what is not. We've been going into our ancestral heritages and knowing that we have come so far that our ancestral heritages have given the gifts of where we are right now, but now we have the capacity to take that to a higher level and infuse our heart-centered consciousness to that. So the Year of the Wood Dragon is to embrace simple constructs of living. It's a year in which the cycles of experienced life on our magnificent planet, it's about what inspires us. It's about our creativity. It's about our curiosity and real enthusiasm for being. Why do we get up in the morning? That's what this year is all about. What drives us to become more than what we are? Where are we going? This is all questions that we are going to be asking us this year. Where are we going? And, you know, like I said, we've been in Light Body for a couple of years, each and every one of us. And what we've been doing is we've been shedding those parts of our ego and our personality that no longer support us into the greater beingness of what we're becoming. So, what opens our heart? What really, really, really matters to our beingness? And what are our hopes and dreams? And we have to start asking us these questions because the Year of the Wood Dragon is kind of like giving us the opportunity to go through a life review and decide what is pertinent, what is not, and go above and beyond what we've always been. So, what do we envision for our future? And this portal is being open to these, of creating these possibilities. So, I'm going to go over some years of the dragon. So there are 5 types of elemental dragons. We have the fire dragon, we have the earth dragon, we have the metal dragon, the water dragon, and the wood dragon. And I'm just going to go over this a little bit because each of, like, I'm born the year of the tiger, and I was born a metal tiger, you know, and each of you were born certain years. I'm not sure what year were you born, Susan? Oh, not you don't no, 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 no. I'm not asking you what's your Chinese lunar year. What actual physical year were you born?
Yeah, I guess I don't want to tell you because that mute
Oh,
button
okay.
didn't go.
Oh, you
Like,
don't want,
no,
okay, you don't
47.
47. But so I know that one specifically. You were born the year of the boar because you were born the same year as my husband. And Sherry, do you know what year you were born in 62, right?
62. I think I'm a tiger.
You're a tiger. And Laurel, you said, what are you? A year of what?
1960.
60. Oh God, I don't know what that would be.
I'm
Sorry.
61. I'm
And
also the ox.
Oh, you're the ox. Oh, you're an ox?
Maybe the rat, the 1960, but
Okay. Anyway, you're the ox. Okay. So anyway, even though like these dragon years offer, because they are mythological creatures during the time that we have a dragon year, it's all about inspiration and creating something from the ethers. It's going into that intuitional realm within ourselves. So a fire dragon was, they were, I'm going to give you, the fire dragon was 1916 and 1976. Okay. So I don't know that much about 1916, but fire dragons are passionate, charismatic, they're radiating energy, they're enthusiastic and confident in everything they do. So, since it's a dragon year, I thought maybe it's not just about the person, it's about what is brought forward during that year. And I think it was interesting in 1976, Steve Jobs brought Microsoft forward. And so that was kind of the beginning of our computer explosion. Um, sure enough, here it is. Okay, 1976. What else happened in 76? Okay, I know that for sure. So just so this year, even though it's a wood dragon, it's going to be all of humanity really for us to expand is to get back to our roots. And we're going to get to that. The Earth Dragon was in 1928 and 1988. Now, 1988, it didn't happen in 1988, but 1988 was the precursor to the Berlin Wall falling down. And I thought that that was very interesting because the wood, the Earth Dragon is very stable and reliable. They work hard to achieve their goals with practicality, diligence, and discipline. And I think that sometimes the year leading up to something will open up new opportunities. So that's, to me, I'm trying to connect how we are going to apply the dragon year to the wood year. 1940 and 2000 was the metal dragon, and they are noble and refined, and they oppress others with their elegance and grace and sophistication. And what happened in 2000, believe it or not, kind of similar to this year, there were a high amount of solar flares. So we had a lot of solar activity that year. And I remember 2000 being like Y2K, and the world was going to explode because the computers would not be able to take the change. But we actually worked through that, and it was the first year of the International Space Station. So we were opening up and creating a reality of being in outer space with a bunch of other nationalities and people all working together. Now, the water dragon was in 1952 and 2012. The water dragon is flexible, intuitive. They adapt to different situations with versatility and resourcefulness and creativity. Well, I know in 1952 is when Sister Teresa decided to save people in India. So she had a very altruistic way of working with the poor. But in 2012, we were opening up to the potentialities of a new beginning and a new ending, and actually an old ending. That we were waking up to, like, oh my God, the world was going to come to an end because 2012 was happening. But actually, it was the birth of humanity as we are working on it now. Ever since 2012, we've been opening up to parts of ourselves, like the soul part of ourselves. I mean, we were building up to that and building up to that. And now in 2024, we're getting back to the wood dragon. And it's about representing growth, creativity, flexibility, but it's creating the visionary portion of us and how we can bring that forward. So 2024 is a time of visionary leaders, innovators, and problem solvers. And we, each one of us working on ourselves, are opening ourselves up so that we can view the world with a new vision. We have to bring it back to ourselves. Because even though each of us are different years of the dragon, I mean, yeah, years of the Chinese calendar, a dragon year opens us up to capacities of developing something, part of ourselves, so that we can be part of the greater whole to push humanity to different levels of being. This is a year to get back to our grassroots. And we're going to figure out how to do that. But once we get back to who we truly are, so this year is complicated but simple at the same time. It is complicated because we make it complicated. We are caught into that mental field of thinking how to do things versus coming from our heart and coming from the level of intuition. This is a year to really, really, really dwell and rely on that intuitional part of ourselves. So we have light body essentials, and that is really, really, we have to embrace those foundations right now more than ever. We have to go back to a state of making everything very simple, down to earth, so that we can open up to a creative emergence that is trying to be birthed during this year. So basically, it's a time of simplifying your life. I don't know about you, but I have like little knickknacks all around, and I love my knickknacks only because most of my knickknacks were given to me by other people and they have significant meaning. But and they have certain energy behind them. I have things all my life, like little rocks and pieces of this and that people gave me that mean so much, that were during significant times in my life. But for some reason, I'm looking around at all this and I'm thinking that I have to dismantle all that and clear things out so I can start something new. even and I, and I'm really apprehensive about that because when I look at these things, it opens up parts of my heart. So I'm not sure exactly, but I just feel overwhelmed by everything around me, stuff, you know. So we have to go back to what are your basic needs and how can you get there? And as I was putting this together, the wood dragon, pointed out. I don't know if any of you know that Abraham Maslow's hierarchy of needs, but he has this pyramid of needs, and he suggests that until you have the basic needs met, that means having pure food, having water, breathing, having feeling safe in your everyday life. Those are really, really important. And I suppose if I'm talking to somebody who's living on the streets and being homeless, this might not mean so much. But because we, being the way showers, if we can establish a firm foundation of our everyday needs by navigating the world behind our eyes, in our heart, claiming our space, being grounded on the planet, if we can do all that, eventually we'll be able to lift and radiate that to everyone around us.
Mhm.
So we have great responsibility because there are people out there that don't know any better. They are just caught into living their everyday lives. But we are the navigators. We are the ones that can make the change. Truth is really important this year. Truth in everything we do, because the truth, they say, shall set you free. That means oftentimes when I don't want to say something because I'm thinking I'm going to offend somebody or someone's not going to like me, I don't want to express it. So during those times, I think that we have the capacity to come forward and express what we're feeling. And when we do that, we give people the opportunity to have their opinion about if it's going to affect them or not, or if they're going to like us or not. I mean, that's all really important. Don't we want to know who's going to like us and who's not just because we're telling our truth? We have to trust our inner whispers. I know I have had this happen many times where something will tell me to do something and I'll say, "Oh, I don't know. I don't know if that's really important." And then I find out that I should have done that. It's something that I should have done, those shoulds, and I didn't. I mean, this is like a really silly thing. We were our driveway collapsed a couple years ago. And this is one that all of you can relate to because we interact with the elementals. I have a very long driveway and we have a covert where water goes through, and there was a thing called the polar vortex that came through. And what happened is the covert that let water go through from one side of the driveway to the other, water got frozen in it and it lifted up the driveway, and our driveway was going to fall off into our ravine. Okay. So what does that have to do with anything? Except for the fact that, and this is to me, because each and every one of us are working with the elementals, the tree elementals and the fairies and the gnomes and everything like that. Um, well, we finally got someone to fix our driveway, and before I used to walk my dogs up and down our driveway. Our driveway is very long. It's like 2,500 feet long. It's like, long, long, long. And, going up and down our driveway is kind of like a big workout in itself. But every time I would go down this driveway, I would see this little pine tree, really perfect little pine tree at the edge of the driveway. And this driveway, this pine tree said, transplant me. And I didn't listen. And sure enough, when they put the new driveway in, that little pine tree was, like wisp away, because of all the digging. But I think about that little pine tree because it was asking me, that inner whispering inside of me was asking me way before this driveway was going to be worked on, way before all of this. And because each and every one of us are really conscious and aware of what we do, of the little things that it was asked, I think about this little pine tree all the time and how it was giving me this message of saving it so that it could be someplace else. So we are hearing these inner voices, these inner whisperings all the time. And they're so important to listen to, especially us, because we have a greater, and I'm saying we as way showers, because we are consciously working on ourselves. We are taking steps because the inner part of ourselves has impelled us to create this new vision of humanity and bring it into place. We have a greater responsibility of listening to those inner whispers. Who in the heck knows? This pine tree could have grown up to something fantastic that young children would have played with and been under. I mean, I don't know, but it was one of those inner whisperings that I did not listen to. And it still hurts my heart, believe it or not. I mean, I can't go back. But it was just showing me how important those inner whisperings and intuition is.
My inner whisper says that maybe you could do a forgiveness practice. You
See,
probably
we
already
have, yes, we should do. Yes.
with
Thank
the
you.
tree,
Thank you.
you know?
Thank you. I will do that. See, that's why we're all working together. We remind us, I mean, you know, because we're in the process of really, really bringing these essential tools into place so that they will be secondhand. Once we do that, we will radiate that and it will help other people be able to be behind their eyes and be the witness and be in their space, because we are holding space. We automatically, being in their presence, our radiance will tell them that, oh my God, maybe I should not be so reactive and all this. So those inner whisperings have to do with if a job isn't working, a relationship isn't working, that might be something you might have to change. But there is another way of changing it. Doesn't mean you have to quit your job or quit your relationship. It means that through those inner whisperings, the only way to change your relationship is to go inside of yourself and find out why that person or that job is reflecting information back to you. What is it saying? Another simple but profound technique that you can use is, which I often talk about, is the 4 agreements. Be impeccable with your speech. That means respect yourself as well as you respect others. Don't say anything unless you really watch your words before they come forth. And I'm telling you, I'm learning all this just as well as anybody else because, oftentimes, I'll say something and I'll say, oh my God, I got to pull it back. I got to be the witness of something. But being impeccable with your speech
Mm.
is really important. And that is like when being impeccable with your speech, often we think it's what we say to others, but what do we say to ourselves? What goes on in our head that we're not impeccable with, that we don't respect who we are in our divine capacity? So it's not just what we say to others or what we communicate to those around us, it's what we say to ourselves. What is that inner voice saying? Don't take things personally. That's the second agreement. I mean, how often? I mean, listen, I am having the greatest challenge this week because my husband's recovering from some operation and he'll say things to me and I'm thinking, I'm doing the best I can, but the fact of the matter is, I'm taking it personally. It's not about me, it's about what needs he has and he's asking. He might not ask it, he may not be impeccable with his speech, but me, because we are working on ourselves, can maybe raise it to a higher level.
Mhm.
It's not about the people outside of us. It's about how we take things in.
Yeah.
And the year of the dragon is all about us getting back to these basic foundations of living on in our everyday life. Third agreement is don't make assumptions. They said this because, and I'm thinking, well, they said this because I'm, like you don't know unless you ask. Instead of making assumptions about what somebody is saying or what they're communicating, be present enough to say, what did you mean by that? Come forward. It takes bravery to come forward saying, this is what I heard you say. I want to know what you really mean by this. Because in making assumptions, what they have to say is not what they intended at all. And the fourth agreement is just do the best you can. I mean, we are a work in progress.
Yeah. Yeah.
Listen, I'm continually working on it. I have the biggest test this week. I'm telling you, I really do. I mean, it's right in front of me. And it's coming at the beginning of the year of the dragon where, okay, I'm going to be working on this. And this is what I have to do to respect myself and others. And I have the capacity to empower myself in ways that I just have to be a witness to what's going on so that I can come forth. Because every time we deepen these practices within us, every time we embrace it and it becomes second nature, that empowers everyone around us. Another thing we can do is follow through with our intentions. Okay, we say we're going to do something. Now, we may change those intentions because they may not work anymore, but really say what you say you're going to do. And if you tell someone you're going to do it, follow through with it. It's your line of least resistance is to say, well, something came up and I'm sorry I'm late versus saying I'm late. I said I was going to be here at a certain time, but I'm late. It's as simple as coming up with all the things in the world of why you're being late or why you're behind or why you didn't follow through with something. Really observe yourself. Why are you not following through? And maybe your intentions weren't, maybe you didn't have the capacity to follow through with the intention in the first place. But then you have to come forward and say, this was my intention, but I have observed myself a little bit more, and I don't know if I have the capacity to do that. And that's going back to what we said about telling the truth.
Mhm.
You know, these are all simple, but they're really, really hard to do because our mind, we have so much chitter going on to take us off our track of doing this. So these are very logical things, but they are probably the most challenging steps that anybody could follow through with. We're being super people here. We're developing those super man qualities or super women qualities within ourselves. So what are your natural rhythms? So many of us want to go on a new food plan. The food that we're eating is not serving us. You know, what's keeping us from doing that? Now, we being in this group have the capacity to go into labs and find out what's keeping us from that. And we might have an idea of what good food is. I don't know. But what we're doing is once you can food, okay, for instance, go into your senses. So something might not be according to your thinking, might not be so good for you. So knowing that, eat that food, take the bite and be the witness. What does this really taste like? Feel it on your tongue. How do you feel after you swallow it? Do you feel joyful? Do you feel regretful? Does it light up your body with energy? I know that sometimes I eat things and, you know, even though they're healthy, I'll eat them and I'll not feel so good inside. So maybe it's a healthy food, but maybe it's just not what my body wants.
Yeah.
Do you want hot food? Do you want cold food? I used to be a big salad eater, but I can't eat salad lately. Salad's good for you, but my body doesn't want it. Listen, go again. What are those inner whispers? But observe yourself through the every part of it. Drink pure water. We have the capacity because we know that water is intelligence of taking this water and imbuing it with love, imbuing it with good energy, imbuing it with color, imbuing it with it, and then drinking it. But it takes discipline to do that. Every time you drink water, I mean, I think about that after the fact many times, saying that I could have, you know, but these are things that we have the capacity to develop during this year of the wood dragon. We're developing, it's a year that by the end of this year, we will have a new vision for ourselves. We're in the process of that. And these are little tools to bring us there. Meditation. How often do we bring back, close our eyes, and doesn't mean you have to sit there and say, I'm going to meditate for 20 minutes. It's just about contemplation, bringing something in. Something doesn't feel so good. Something feels wonderful, whatever it is, going inside of yourself and having a conversation of why it is and why it isn't. It's meditation. Getting the proper amount of sleep. You know, I'm doing better with that. You know, I used to think I sleep too much, but sometimes we need that sleep. Sometimes we don't. Sometimes we can get by with more or less. But it's all about listening to your senses. What are you hearing? What do you when you're in environments, what do you hear around you? Is it too jagged, or is it, I mean, do you like quiet? Do you like listening to songs? Do you like listening to the radios? I mean, it's just about witnessing and watching your senses of what you hear, what you see, and what you taste, what you communicate. It's all about observation. Be with nature. Right now, the wood dragon is going back to our roots, and we have been taken so far away from our natural environment. And many of you I know, like I know Laurel and I know Jet. I think all of us, we know being outside is really expansive and wonderful, and walking with bare feet and feeling the earth beneath, feeling the vibration and watching the environment and watching the sky. What do the clouds have to tell us? What do the trees have to tell us? What are the elementals telling us? Opening us up so that maybe we can have a conversation with those elements. I mean, that's my wish. And so I just have to take time and do that. Forest bathe. They have a new they have a new college course out. It's about forest bathing. They have social workers that take this course, and what they do is they help their people that come to them for health say you have to walk in the woods 45 minutes a week, 3 times a week, because people have forgotten what it feels like to be in nature. Now, I don't have to tell any of you that, because these are some things that we do, but I'm just bringing up what we could do. You're the dragon. And talk to the nature spirits. Strive to develop a relationship with them, and that's what we're all doing. I mean, we're doing that. And even going up to the Sasquatch conference, I mean, all of us are going, and that is a perfect way to really, really anchor that energy in. Oftentimes, for me, because I don't have a physical manifestation of something, I doubt it. But if I say I'm talking to my Yeti, sometimes I get this chill rate that goes down. Or if I talk to my entourage, I get this special tingle in my body. And then I know it's really happening. So when you talk to the nature spirits, or when you talk to your entourage, notice what goes on in your body. What are the voices you hear? What is the response? What is the conversation like? So the wood dragon assists us to remember the truth of the natural world of the Pachamama. We're observing our unhealthy habits, and we know what healthy and not so healthy is. And it doesn't mean you have to live a perfect life, because we're human beings. Oh my God, I have a big sweet tooth. I love sweets, but I have to just manage them. Just manage them. There's a fine line between healthy and unhealthy. It doesn't mean you can't do this, you can't do that. It's the middle road. It's about balance. Because denying yourself is just as bad as overdoing it, indulgence. And really decide and honor your highest truth and recreate programs that will hold you. That means walking the middle road. And again, what we are doing this year is developing a plan to embrace all these so-called simple things, but are really, really challenging to integrate and establish and build into our bodies. And we're doing that through being in our heart. And that's what the dragon year is bringing us. Remember the dragon heart. It's thinking about the big dragon heart within. So we're building a scaffolding so that we can become authentic and self-actualized. And self-actualized means that no one is telling you to do it but yourself. It's not like you don't have a parent saying, hey, you got to do this. You are your own parent. You are your own guardian. And maybe you can listen to your ancestors, and maybe they have something to offer. And maybe your star seed ancestors in origins have something to offer you.
Mhm.
But the thing is, you are the only person that can take action on it. So it's building a plan of self-actualization. And I'm just giving you tidbits here and there to, help us remember. So that said, I'm going to come back to myself again and what I'm experiencing. I think I mentioned last time that I discovered this true sky astrology.
That's
Well, that sure threw a wrench into everything I've learned in my whole life because I didn't doubt it. When I heard it, I knew it was the truth. And it doesn't mean to throw out tropical Western astrology because for the last 2,000 years, we've been on a program of astrological information, of knowing that in the spring equinox, Aries begins and then Taurus comes. So every 30 degrees or every 30 is a new sign. So that is in our body matter. That is a scaffolding that we have. So we don't get rid of that. That's a way that we have believed in. Vedic astrology has to do, to me, with, and that's been around for a couple thousand years. And that has to do with the astrology of the soul, as far as I'm concerned. And it has to do with our connection with our starseed origins. I think Vedic astrology has to do with that. But true sky astrology, if we're talking about getting back to our roots, forest bathing, walking on the earth, drinking water, being with the nature spirits, we have to open up and bring in the truth of the cosmos as they exist in this moment in time.
Mhm.
So that's what's happening. We are opening up to the truth of all these systems. And it doesn't mean any of these other things do not work, because for many people it does. But because we are where we're at, and because we are working on what is true, using true sky astrology gives us an opportunity to find out a deep inner truth of how our body is resonating with the cosmos in real time. So, in Western astrology, the planet of Pluto, which is the planet of death, rebirth, transformation, and divine alchemy, went into the sign of Capricorn, which has to do with our so-called established structures of how we live. It has to do with our educational system, our environmental, medical system, health system, financial system, military system, and the media. So in 2008, in Western astrology, Pluto entered into Capricorn. So, of course, to me, from then until now, we have been experiencing a kind of upheaval of us saying none of these systems seem to be working. So, Western astrology to me was a foreshadowing. In true sky astrology, within the last couple weeks, Pluto moved into Capricorn, which means this foreshadowing of seeing all that is broken, we have the capacity to embrace and actual take steps to change. There are children born on the planet. There are people on the planet that are actually going to take step forward, and there are doctors coming forward, functional medicine doctors. You know, all of those things that we told were kind of like woo woo and were not that are actually going to come to the forefront. We're going to, through food, through the right supplements, through our meditation, through walking and grounding ourselves on the earth, we are going to take charge and find out what's going in our temple, this vehicle that we walk around on this planet. And we are going to make changes in our health system. A lot of us are doing that right now. The educational system seems to be broken. The media system is definitely broken. I mean, I'm finding out that everything is an absolute lie out there for me. And I'm just waking up to all the ways that there's such an untruth in the world around me. But if I'm waking up to it, I think Christina's talk, not this week, but the week before, she talked about the visionary. And I think that I don't know if I have the capacity to go out there and change the financial system. I don't know if I can change our military or our government. I know that I can take responsibility for my health and maybe support doctors that are so-called functional medicine doctors or doctors of homeopathy or naturopaths and all that. I can do that. But through her talk, I discovered that I'm a visionary. So I have a vision of humanity's future. I have a vision of us all working together and not be competitive in the military, not fighting each other in wars. I have a vision, and me having that vision and in holding that into place is opening up people in the dream that can actually take action and accomplish those changes. So some of us can make those changes, but some of us are just visionaries. We are awake to the dream of humanity working with each other so that we can become something different than what we are. And we don't know what that is yet because we are in the process of creating. So in true sky astrology, Pluto going into Capricorn right now, from now until 2040, God, I'll be 90 then. But anyway, and hopefully through my functional medicine doctor, I'm going to be this vibrant old 90-year-old tap dancing.
Dance with you.
Yeah, that's my plan, man.
Together.
And you know what? We're born at just the right time because, oh my gosh, there's going to be
Yeah.
so many things opening up where we can not age, but youth.
Yeah.
It's and I think that Christina said a little while ago she doesn't want birthdays anymore because age gives a connotation of deterioration
I don't know, I
versus
feel like age now. I mean, every birthday that goes by, first of all, you never feel it goes by so quickly anyway.
it
But then
does.
you don't really feel it that much anymore. It's just like, okay, well, we get together and we just for a celebration, but more than actual the birthday. It's
Yeah,
like
I know it is. It is. Well, that's how I feel. I've never worried about my age, but that's me.
my
But I'm
grandma
a,
never wanted to say how old she was.
excuse me.
You
Oh,
know,
that's
my grandmother we used to say, how old are you, grandma? No, don't say. Don't
Oh
ask.
yeah. Well, I eat lunch with my granddaughter. She says, "Grandma, how come you have so many wrinkles in your neck?"
Yeah, yeah, that's a thing. That's a thing. Oh well.
Or she'll touch my hand, my arm. My arm, my veins are sticking out more, and
Yeah,
she'll come up to me and she'll poke them.
yeah. That's it.
But that said, I'm living in an absolutely fabulous, fabulous. See, that's what we have to do is I have to witness, lately I've been witnessing parts of my physical body that I'm not so happy with, but you know what? The fact of the matter is I have the opportunity to figure out how I can reverse that versus being a victim of it.
Yeah. Sorry.
So from now until 2040, all of us are going to actually witness changes around us. And you can look out the world, it looks pretty awful out there. But you know what? I often tell people we are seeing the old fall down and deteriorate so something new can come up. It's like a forest fire, burns everything to the ground and new growth comes up.
Mhm.
So the more of us that will wake up to our truth and radiate that, the more other people can, and we are waking up all over the planet. It's not just us, our group. There are many, 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 many people that are questioning, especially it's been accelerating since 2020. I mean, when 2020 happened and this La Cucaracha happened, I said, oh my God, it's here. This is a sign. Yay! Because I knew that it would open up people to seeing what we have been fed and what we want to do that doesn't fit in with what we're being fed. What is the truth and what is not the truth? We're waking up to that, and we're not the only ones. So, in the next couple days, especially this week, Mercury of Mind through True Sky Astrology is transiting into Pisces. Okay. So Pisces is all about vision. It's all about intuition. It's all about the deep subconscious and the collective. And it's going to be conjoining Neptune. And Neptune is all about that as well. So therefore, this week, after our little talk right here, knowing that we're going into the year of the wood dragon and going back to basics, we have the capacity to start putting a plan together of how we want to center within our heart, how we want to go and embrace those inner whisperings, how we want to go back to our truth, how we want to experience ourselves senses at a hyperdimensional level of knowing that everything you put in your mouth, you're going to taste and swallow and watch yourself do. You know, when you hear something, really listen. Really see what you see out there. Open your eyes to different realities. So this is going to be a whole year of the wood dragon. And I just thought, this is Dragon Month. I thought that I would kind of expound on it. But how the year of the wood dragon is also bringing us back to Pluto entering Capricorn, which is restructuring our everyday life so that we can build a whole new scaffolding system that will support humanity in a way that we have never seen before. So that said, I thought we'd go into a little meditation. Does anybody have say anything about the dragon year? Year of the dragon?
I have a question.
Yes.
So you said that there's 5 dragons, so do we get a new one every
12 years.
20 years or 12 years?
12 years.
And then but it's only for 1 year. And
1
then
year.
what's with the
So
rest?
if you think about it, the dragon years are the inspirational visionary years. So every 12 years. So we are in the wood dragon. The last time we were in the year of the wood dragon was 1964. Now think about 1964. It was the beginning of transcendental meditation. It was the beginning of the spiritual movement. I mean, at this time, it was the beginning of make love, not war. It was beginning of the flower children. It was the beginning of us waking up to women's rights, gay rights, relationship rights, all of that. So that wood dragon started a whole new year, all the way up till now, which was, I think, 60 years. The last 60 years gave us an imprint of, oh my God, that was such a magical, magical time. So if that is said, and Pluto going into Capricorn, I can't even imagine the magic this year is going to begin for the next 12-year or next 60-year cycle. But the next dragon that is going to be occurring, which will be 2024, I think it will be 2034, will be the year of the fire dragon. Okay. So that is going to be another inspirational year of, if you think about Steve Jobs, what he did with computers, I have no idea what's going to come forth in that year. But the wood dragon is setting the tone for the next 60, from wood dragon to wood dragon, bringing us down to everyday reality of how we want to create our vision. It's the most visionary of all of them. So go back to the 60s and where you were then. Oh my God, it was a wonderful time.
I was born.
You were born, but you go back to you.
Yay!
You still, a
With
lot
the
of people
flower
still.
children.
I know it. You still listen to the music then. You look at Woodstock. Oh my God.
Yeah,
Transcendental meditation. I mean, it started the movement towards, oh my God, we're more than just following the rules.
mm-hmm.
So yes, the wood dragon, the last wood dragon was 1964, and it was the beginning of that movement of getting back to the source. But then again, through time, other certain things start pulling us off. But I think that with what happened in 2020, I think this wood dragon is going to set a new 60-year plan of exactly what I talked about. People embracing their truth.
Yeah, we're rebirthing.
We're in a different rhythm
They're
right
gonna
now.
start coming through, I think. I feel.
Did you say this again?
I feel like the visions are gonna start coming through.
Yes, the visions.
Time. Yeah.
So
I
we
feel-
had those visions in the 60s, but it didn't get, it kind of like, We had to go through some other stuff to get there. We had to go through 2012, which was the year of the what dragon? What was that? 2012 was a water dragon. So we are a year of receptivities, you know, knowing that we were gonna have to be receptive and creative in a whole new way. Go with the flow. That's what happened. No, we've been going with the flow, and now we're saying, okay, let's take some action. But you know, we got to get down to our grassroots. We got to get down to really establishing habits that help us follow through with our intentions, follow through with our impeccability of our speech, follow through with how we relate to each other in a true and honest, heartfelt way.
Mm-hmm.
We're developing a means of our self-actualization, able to develop these foundations so much that they will just be a natural part of our everyday living. We won't have to think, oh my God, I got to bring my varicosha down. Oh my God, I got to get behind my eyes. Oh my God, I got to claim my space. Oh my God, I got to do this. It will just happen. It will be automatic. And when it's automatic for each and every one of us, our little cell is going to explode that energy around so other people will be able to naturally do it. Because they'll be in our aura, they'll be in our radiance, they'll be in our creative form.
Yeah.
That's why we're way showers.
It'll just be our way of being.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Our visionary, we just way of being. It's nothing we have to do. It's a way, like you say, of being. Going to the grocery store, going to the bank, driving your car. So let's kind of center in our hearts. And we're going to just close our eyes and kind of go into a meditation here. And kind of take that Viracocha above your head and just acknowledge it. We know what it is, that golden light, that essence of who we've always been and who we always were, and bring it down to encompass our whole biosuit on all dimensions, every single dimension of what we are, going back before time was time. That light and spark that has emanated our beingness from the source. Now, as your eyes are closed, notice that you are being the witness to who you are, your essence. That animates this temple that you are embracing and experiencing the multi-dimensional world that we live in. Feel your essence inside of your biosuit. Can you feel it? Or is it just there? You may be able to feel your physical body, but it's your essence that's making you aware of that. It's your consciousness. This is bringing this to the truth of what you're feeling in this moment. So bring your attention from behind your eyes all the way down into your heart, your physical beating heart. Acknowledge love and gratefulness for this beating heart, this divine spark that's animating this biosuit that you inhabit. And while you are feeling what it is to be in your heart, notice that inside of your heart is your spark of heart consciousness that connects to the heart consciousness in all that was ever in creation. The heart of the Pachamama, the heart of all the creepy crawlies, the heart of our sun that radiates vital life force to all of the planets and all that exist on all of the planets. Your heart is connected to the heart of the Milky Way. And beyond and beyond and beyond, before time was time. We have an opportunity this year to manifest creative visions through heart consciousness. This is maybe a year of tremendous struggle. With our mind body. That impels us to think that we know. But transcending our mind and following our inner knowing can be embraced with your consciousness. Our intuitive nature must be a goal and a guiding force for us to embrace at this time. The dragons of wisdom are coming forth to assist us to accomplish this feat. Such an iconic feat it is. This can be accomplished with diligence and effort and trusting our inner whisperings. we have the impulse to really take charge and unfold our true spiritual heritage. We are awakening to programs seated deep within our DNA. And that is being activated by our sun's recent activity. Our sun is going through its own transformation and birth. The dragons of wisdom brought cosmic gnosis to Pachamama eons ago. As we humans have traversed our evolutionary journey, circumstances occurred that prompted spiritual amnesia. We are now awakening to our divine nature and potential to become the co-creators that we are destined to become. The dragon's skulls are now activated by our conscious awakening, embracing and remembering our sacred truth. As we initiate self-awareness and take action to become our sacred truth, we will manifest the dream of humanity. We will dream into being our role as co-creators with Pachamama, our sun, and extending out through the cosmos. Our spiritual heritage and truth at this time is unity, consciousness through the heart, and through love. So be it. May the real emerge through our inner truth. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So slowly, slowly from your heart, bring your attention back behind your closed eyes. And know that being behind your eyes, you will now witness the world in which you inhabit. and establish a great relationship with this divine witness within. And give great love and gratitude for you choosing to be on this adventure with the Pachamama. And when you are ready, you're going to open your eyes.
Mm.
Well, thank you. Thank you for all being here, and
Thank you, Mariana.
go forth in your truth. May the truth be with you, and may the
Yeah.
force be with you.
May your husband feel good.
What did you say?
I say, may your husband feel good.
Oh yeah, he has his own process. I just have to be
Hold
the
space.
witness. Hold space. Hold space is true.
Thank you, Raylan.
Thank you.
You all. Thank you.
And
Okay.
Lara, are you celebrating a solar return tomorrow?
Oh, it's her birthday's tomorrow?
Yeah.
Is that a yes? Yeah.
Come,